You know the quote, keeping up the Joneses?
Yeah.
And there's another quote that keeping up the Joneses will keep you broke. Now, this is not just a money thing. This is just societal thing. Like I don't even know who the Joneses is or if they're even real. But you get this whole societal thing where people have these next levels for you before you even think about getting there. It's like the house. I did not want a house. Right. Like we moved to Dallas, and the first thing people ask me is like, "Oh, you could afford a house." Well, I could have afforded a house, but do I want to live in a house? And you get this whole notion everybody around you lives in a house, so now I should live in a house. You have to know what you don't want. People say it all the time. It's kind of cliche now, like get in the environment, get in the room. But if you be around enough people who are doing the thing that you want to do, eventually it's going to rub off on you. Like if you're around people who drink all the time, eventually you might pick up a drink. If you're around people who smoke all the time, you may eventually pick up smoking. You would hope if you're around people who are, let's say people are very religious, you may start to, oh, wow, see the power in religion in their lives. And you may say, well, I want to feel that. I want to be around that. I want to see what they're experiencing. So you may say to yourself, all right, I want to be around people who are experiencing this religion. Get around people who start making money. You start to say to yourself, all right, I want to, that some of that money might start rubbing off on you. But sometimes it's not enough just being in the area. You got to actually take action behind it too.
Being in this business, we've learned that they say if your goal is 50, your goal really should be 80. Because most of the times you're probably limiting yourself. Most of the time, right? So we just set an outrageous goal. They're like, yeah, that's doable. And we're sitting there, we get off the phone and go talk to each other like, can you really imagine that? I don't know if that's even possible, right? And we've been doing this, for a long time, 3-4 years. We've been doing it for a long time. And one would say, well, why would you think it's not possible? Because at some point you felt like you making any money from digital products or you making any money wasn't possible. And now you've grown and you've shown that you can do it. So why would you even question that? But it's like, it's not that easy. You constantly have to have people like pouring into you and telling you and encouraging you and showing you, like you said, getting into those rooms that what is possible.
I was driving and he recognized the car, and he gave me a wave and I got out and we started talking, and it just reminded me that when you are like, your story is what makes you unique. Like he could be around multimillionaires or whatever it may be. I was his direct manager, so he was like, yo, I want to continue to remind you that you guys, your story changed my life. You changed my thought process. You changed my outlook on what's possible. Now you may say, all right, I know a bunch of people who got podcasts or paid off debt or was on Good Morning America or
I hear you say a little stunt, brother.
Like you may know a bunch of people doing those things, but can you relate to their story specifically? Can you relate to, oh, they came from the projects, oh, you may look like me, you may talk like me. So like your story makes you unique. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever think that you can't do something because everybody else is doing it. No, there's a reason why people like you. There's a reason why people come to you. And do you ever want to be the CEO of that company? So think about it right now. If you guys are working a job, think about, would you ever want to be CEO of the company you are working at? Think about it. Like literally stop, think about it. Yes or no? I need to know. Yes or no? I mean, for you, let's even talk about that.
No.
You would never want to be the CEO of your company. So in my opinion, or I'll talk about my own role, I never want to be CEO of the company I worked at. I realized when I got to a certain point, I did not want that position above me. Remember that? I was like, we were always talking about like, what's next? What's next? You have to be very clear about what you want and more importantly, what you do not want in life. And it was like, what is next for Anthony? I mean, you have these mid-year reviews, you have the end-of-year reviews. And
quarterly reviews.
And they ask you like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal in the company? And you start to say, oh, I'm good. At some point, you do not want to go to that next roll up. You do not want to go to that next position up because you realize
what it takes to be in that next role.
What you want in life and what you do not want in life, more importantly.
When we make decisions, we think about it with how does it affect our life, the life that we want to live. That's a huge for us. No matter how much money it is, no matter what it is, like how is it going to affect our life that we live day to day? Is that something that we want to do, basically? And if it's a no, it's a no. This is not something we're taking on. And so that's a big deal for us. But I think another thing that plays into kind of what you were saying and thinking about internally is society, about that what's next and if it's enough. Because what happens is, somebody gets engaged, they say, when are you getting married? You get married, they say, when are you having a baby? You have a baby, they say, when are you having another baby? Right? You get, you move to a city, when are you moving into a house? It's a constant with society as well, even when you get a new job, okay, when are you getting a promotion? You had this car for 10 years, when are you getting a new car? It's a constant with society of it not being enough, basically. Like, it's just not enough. And I guess that's what feeds into it for yourself, you know, of you feeling like it's not enough and I need to do more, society, and then yourself. So I guess my question would be, how do you manage that day to day? You're constantly just wondering, what can I do better on? And one side of it, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to do better in life, right? But I'm a big believer of too much of anything is not good for you. Anything, water, anything you come to me, too much of anything is not good for you.
So I realized that my manager was traveling a lot. He managed a huge, literally 75% of the company, time away from the family, time away from the wife, time away from the kids, having to go out to eat all the time, being on a plane, you know, drinks. Now that those parts may sound fun, like traveling a lot, but you're away from your family. You're not able to kind of get in a healthy routine. You're kind of doing this, you're kind of doing that. And I got to experience a little bit of that when we were transitioning down to Dallas. And I was like, yo, I always want to travel after my 9 to 5. I would love to do that. And then it became, I was traveling, you know, first it was like every quarter. Then we came down to the wedding, it was like every month. I'm coming back to Dallas, come back to New York, back to Dallas, back to New York. I said, I do not want this life. I literally said that. So when I got to that role, I said, I do not want to travel. I do not want to leave Dallas. I'll come to New York once in a while. But I realized more importantly than what I wanted was what I did not want my life to look like.